Greetings, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about the power of suggestion, what it's able to do, how it influences the way we think, the way we behave, the things that we do. Now, if you have children or grandchildren, you will know that the McDonald's sign is something that is so powerful that when these children see this, they're always asking you or pushing you or begging you to take them to McDonald's. When you watch children's movies, where the way they place those ads in those movies, it is so powerful and so successful in having children demand toys, clothing, certain article that is advertised in these children's movie that come holiday time or birthdays or whatever, parents are inundated with requests for these things. So in the child's movie where these ads are placed, nobody's talking about these things. It's just placed in a movie, but the kids see it. These subliminal messages to our children, and then you have to go out and get these things for them. Even as adults, you have women who will take their rent money and take their children's sustenance money to go buy designer labels because of how these things are advertised. Look at technology. Someone would have a phone that is perfectly working. There's nothing wrong with the phone, but the power of these ads, these multi-billion-dollar companies know how to get you to change a phone that came out last year and is really no different from the one that comes out this year. And you spend hundreds and thousands of dollars getting these things. The power of advertisement, the power of suggestion. Some years ago, Oprah was doing a show, and she wanted to see how people would respond to suggestion. And she said that they were smelling someone in the audience that was placed there, so that they smelled something, and people started fainting. The power of suggestion. And so hopefully this video will help you to understand where you are as a Black person and understand why our children are the way they are. Is an example of why you see things like Black on Black crime, the environments in which African people live, the symbolism and the imagery, not to mention, this flat out statements that are made that might impact or influence the way you think, but the images are far more stronger. You ask, why are we most hated? So I'm going to show you images in China, in Spain, in France, and images in the Black spaces for you to understand the self-hate, where it comes from, and also the disrespect and the disregard from other people who've never met you. But these are the images they see, and it leads them to one conclusion. Okay, let's get started. Now, this is not the first time I'm doing this video, but after I was finished doing the other one, I found out that YouTube really would probably block that video because things are changing, and so their imagery, their nakedness, and I just don't want all of that, so I had to redo this. Now, what I'm going to start with is this picture. Now, that's an image of an African man and a woman and a child on his shoulder. And on first look, you would say, what is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. You kind of want to see more African family. And this is something that might be positive. But, she's on the outside of the structure. He's standing inside, and you could interpret that by saying, well, he's walking through concrete. But seriously, walking through concrete, what does that say? It looks like he's stuck to me. Now, this Korean creation was built in Senegal, and I'm going to read something that will give you a little backdrop. The Senegalese Monument Project began in 2006 when then President Abdoulaye, I don't know if it's Wade or Wade, is Wade, began planning a massive hilltop monument that would represent Senegal and Africa, emerging from centuries of slavery and colonialism. After years of planning and construction, the African Renaissance Monument was inaugurated in 2010 to mark the 50th anniversary of Senegal's independence from France. The final cost of the statue was 27 million. Unable to afford the payment in cash, Wade paid North Korea in the form of state-owned land in Senegal. And I have some stats here that saying 40% of the people in Senegal live below, 47% live below the poverty line, according to the World Bank. Now, on the back of this picture is a statue in China, and this represents the Chinese god. And I think I might have this image coming back. I expand some more on this. Now, this is a very famous image, the Statue of Liberty in New York City. Now imagine the children growing up in New York City and seeing this. What a powerful imagery. This is also in New York. There's the man on the horse. So gallant. Statue of Liberty, New York City. Now, if you look closely in the picture, you'll see school buses. So I'm assuming that children come to the site, you know, on these trips. Children are coming. The school bus is not for anybody else but children. And these are the monuments they get to visit, to look at as they study history or learn more about the American history. Yeah, so this is the photo I was referring to. It says, I'm hoping you can read it. Incredibly epic statue of ancient Chinese warrior god unveiled. Now, this is an imagery or a symbol or a statue in France. This is what the kids get to see. This is what people go to see when they go as tourists. This is what the locals get to see. Now, this is a picture of a Viking, a statue of a Viking here in, I think it's Manitoba in Canada. There's another one in Spain. Now, this is imagery or a symbol or monument in Korea. And on the back side of this monument is in Africa. The ones who built the statue that is in Korea also have this statue in Africa. Now I want you to look at the bottom, what you see. You see these people? Who are these people? Obviously bowing down in front of the statue. Africa. Now, this is an image of a monument in Barbados. There's the African man with what appears to be broken chains, but still attached to his two hands, and looking up in the heavens. And they would say that represents freedom. Here is, now we know the Haitians are the first African people to gain, people of African ancestry to gain their freedom. And so when you look at this, I am looking at what appears to be an African man blowing their bang. I look at his posture, how he's kneeling, and his leg behind him, and look closely at the chain that is still very much attached. And I know that these represent emancipation, but I want you to keep in mind as we're discussing this here, that this is what the children get to see. This is what the world gets to see. This is the image representing African people. The chain still attached. Remember, when these works are given out, and the person who make this creation, they will be leaving a very strong message, not just to the people of that place, but to the world. Here is monument in Tanzania, and I think I referred this in the last video that I was talking about. Now this is a monument that commemorates, because what happens is these statues, these monuments actually commemorate the things in history that occurred. And if you look at the European ones, you see the valor, you see the victory. But in all our spaces, what you're seeing is these chains. How does the children that grow up in these environments see these things? And how are they internalizing these imageries? Am I saying that they should be shown? But I'm saying, what impact does this have on a child's mind? Remember, I was talking about the movies, and I'm telling you how these things are placed in the movie and how the kids desire it. Now, last, and by no means least, and in my opinion, the most disturbing, and I'm going to have to block it off because I don't edit my videos most of the time, and I don't want to have to get this video flagged, because you can go for yourself if you don't know it already, and you just look up Emancipation Park and look at the monument that was I think it's a Canadian artist that built the sculpture representing emancipation right there in Emancipation Park. The black man and the black woman looking up into the heavens, and most of the sculptures that I see, the black man and woman looking up. Now, hopefully, the part of the woman's body here that shows her breast is not going to be offensive. Hopefully, it's not, and that this video will be allowed to stay up. Now, all that I've shown you here now, I'm saying to you, if a child grows up in an environment where this is what you're seeing, chains around people's necks, whether it's broken or not, as long as it's still attached, these imageries of people looking, because that one in Emancipation Park, does show the black man and woman looking not powerful, in my opinion, looking pitiful, looking pathetic, looking up for answers, looking for deliverance. The other areas of the world where they show their monument, they are showing you how they went out there and make it happen for themselves. They were not looking up in the heavens. They're not praying to anybody. They were making it happen. They were fighting for whatever it is that they desired and needed. But all the images in Africa or the Caribbean spaces shows slavery. First of all, Black people were never slaves. We were enslaved. When you talk about us being slaves, it's like seem like this thing that we were born to do or to be. That's not the case. We were enslaved. Keep in mind, we were enslaved by the Arabs, enslaved by Europeans, and you have to say to yourself, what is it about a people where so many people who get the idea that they can hold you in bondage? Look at the physique of African men. Look at the strength, the physical strength of our people. So what is it about our people where we would have gone through so many hundreds of years of bondage, and in this time not much have changed? Maybe the chains have gone from the arms and the legs, but the mind is still in such a captive place. This is what our children see, and this is what other people are seeing from their different parts of the world. So you ask, why does this one and that one and whatever hate us so much? This is what they see. This is what they know us to be. And you don't think this is powerful enough, where advertisements in a movie or on a billboard can impact you so much that you make decisions and choices because of what you see, and that these images that are in our African spaces would go for nothing? Isn't this more than just a powerful suggestion? When you see that, why do you think our minds are the way it is? What do you think our children, or what are our children saying to themselves? This is what they know us to be. They can't look past this. How can you look past this? So we chose to accept that as part of who we are, whereas other person try to show you who they are through their gallantry, through that attitude to go out there and get. We're not waiting for a mother or father to deliver us, or a God to deliver us. Well, that's what we're doing, but that's not the imagery we see of other people. And so the next time you ask yourself the question, why are we so hated? Here's why. Why we have no respect? Here's why. Why are children this way? Hate each other and do the best they can to destroy each other. This is why. These imageries over the years, hundreds of years, and to this modern time, that chooses to hold on to just this and show this as Black people's history. That is why. And so we're not blaming others for suggesting this. We blame ourselves. He spent $27 million to get someone from another race, another culture, another country to come and tell them who African people is and what emancipation look like. And paid for it too. Gave land for that. So when you're asking yourself the question, why are we so hated? The better question to say is, why do we hate ourselves so much? Why do we give liberty to other folks to tell us who we are? These statues are given to us. They're not created by people in African spaces. They're given out to say, draw something and tell us what your idea of emancipation looks like, because it certainly isn't ours, because there's no way. And if it's the truth that we actually think this way, this is how we see ourselves, it's very pathetic. It's very, very pathetic. This by far is one of the worst ones I have seen. So the next time you're going to ask somebody to feel sorry for yourself, examine some of the choices that we make and how we allow others to define who we are. And we're not just prepared for to pay them to do it. Whatever they give to us, whether it's motivated by their own personal feelings towards you, and whether it's negative or not, we are prepared to accept it. I'll end it right now. Stay blessed, everyone.